Hello, hello. We are at GovAI Summit and AGENTIC Conference, and I'm sitting here with Rick Hall, CEO of Coginiti. Rick, why don't you tell us a little bit about Coginiti? What are you all building over there?
Yeah, great. So first of all, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So Coginiti is what we refer to as a collaborative data operations platform. So that
Okay.
really means two things. One is, how do you get your data ready to be used for AI or for any other case, really? And collaborative, meaning that we want engineers and analysts and everybody to work together. So we have a platform that lets people work together and prepare data for use in AI.
So no more working in silos.
No more working in silos, right?
I
Because
love
silos
that.
create data that is not consistent. And you need consistent data if you're going to really enable AI.
If you're going to make some real things happen, right? So let me ask you this. There are agencies out there, and they're sitting on decades of legacy systems and cryptic data. So what are the first, let's say, 3 steps that they should take to build an AI-ready foundation without the massive rip and replace?
Yeah, well, that's the first thing, right? Is you don't have to start by trying to put everything in one place.
Okay.
People have been doing that for decades, and it doesn't really work out. And so the advantage of a solution like ours is we can work with the data wherever it is.
Okay.
Now, we see 3 components to making data ready for AI. The first is we have to introduce quality into the data process, right? So, I grew up in the Midwest. We made cars. Our cars, we stopped making them well, and the Japanese came in and they made cars better, right?
Yeah.
So we figured out how to do quality in manufacturing like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And in software, maybe 15 years ago. Well, data, we need to introduce quality practices. So
Wow.
that means introducing testing, having components, making things reusable, managing versions. You just need a data process that introduces quality, because if you don't have quality data, you get nowhere.
Nothing else is quality. And I love that example that you gave. Like, hey, we learned how to make everything else reliable, and now we're in the season to make data reliable.
That's right. And if we don't do that, we're never going to get this AI revolution off the ground.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, let me ask, how should the public sector measure whether they're truly AI ready? And I know that is a big question. So
Right.
how should they measure that?
Well, I think that, again, the first thing is your data ready, right? And there's really 2 elements of having your data ready. You need to have quality, and you need to have it named in a way that a language model and an AI agent can talk to, right? So in your classic databases, fields and tables have really archaic names. They might be called cust-ord.
Yeah.
Well, an AI agent doesn't know that means customer order,
Yeah.
right? So we have to introduce naming that allows our technologies and AI to work with data. And we have to introduce quality. So we have quality processes feeding data. We have clean naming to use that data. We call that semantic clarity.
Yes.
Those are the 2 most important things.
Okay, great. Because the way I understand it, so many orgs have data sitting in their pipelines on their computers, and it's just completely disorganized.
Yeah.
So what I hear you saying is, hey, clean it up, label it, and label it in a way that the AI can understand so it can be harnessed and used.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so ultimately, you have to do that, and you don't have to put all your data in one place in order to do so, right? Particularly in public agencies.
Yes.
Their data is in lots and lots of different systems. There's lots of vendors who will come out and say, hey, just move all your data to my environment, and then everything's going to be good.
Yeah.
Well, that move all your data to my environment, that's really time consuming, very expensive, and often doesn't work.
Yes, yes. So we're hearing we got to clean the data. We don't have to put it all in one place. But are there concrete indicators or frameworks that separate agencies who are prepared from those who are just experimenting?
Well, at the end of the day, it's understanding what is the use case for AI.
Okay.
Right? So the first kind of wave of people trying to introduce AI, they just had these AI experts sitting in a corner who were going to come up with AI solutions, right?
Yes.
Well, those people didn't really understand the problems
That
an
needed to be
agency had.
solved.
So really the key is to introduce people into the process that you're trying to improve, and identifying clear use cases or places that you're going to add value. So if you do that, and you solve the data quality problem, and you get the naming together, you're on the right track.
So it sounds to me like you're advocating for humans in the loop.
Absolutely. So, Silicon Valley has tried to convince us all that these intelligent agents are going to do all this work for us. And it's been both, like, for them, the great promise, and also it scared everybody else to death, right? Well, first of all, it's just not true, right? We are a long way from autonomous AI agents making decisions instead of having humans. So everything we do has a human in the loop.
Wonderful.
And at the end of the day, when you're working with data, well, you can't be close to being right? I think our customers were profitable, maybe. That's not going to do it, right? So we need precision. We need humans in the loop. AI can be great assistant capabilities. That's how we see it.
Love to hear that. So let me ask this, the hype.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hype
There
around
is,
generative AI specifically in government, but less discussion about the underlying data.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest misconception agencies have when they're trying to implement AI without first modernizing their data foundation?
Well, the first thing is that their AI isn't going to produce accurate results, right? So I think that it's widespread now that people understand that if we don't get our data right, our AI isn't going to work, right? So, okay, early on, we're just trying to figure out what are these language models doing? Will they, replace humans? There was like all this talk, programmers are going to go away, and all these jobs are going to disappear, and we're just going to point AI at it. Well, anybody who thought they could just point AI at somebody's data world didn't understand what most organizations' data world looks like. It's a big, complicated environment with a lot of esoteric names for things, with poor quality. So, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't get your data foundation right.
That's right. Okay, so I have a selfish question, Rick. And I am deeply interested in ethics in AI. Can you talk a little bit about your ethical ethos at Coginiti?
Yeah, well, so first of all, at the end of the day, it's about delivering this to improve people as opposed to, this world of autonomous agents, right? So, if we're trying to make people more productive and more valuable, then, we think that that's ethically the right way to go, right? And it's also the only way that's ultimately going to work, right? So you do also need to apply appropriate security, make sure that the right data is available to the right people. All that's critical to the right infrastructure.
I love that you have already thought about that as an organization. And as you mentioned, it's really about improving the lives of humans.
Right.
So thank you so much,
We are
Rick.
humans.
Are we?
Yeah, well,
are we human?
Are we robots? I don't know.
So thank you so much for having a conversation
Sure.
with us today. And I hope you have an amazing GovAI and AGENTIC experience.
Great. And thank you so much for talking today.
Absolutely. Thank you.